My name is Okezie Victor Ikpeazu, the Executive Governor of Abia State, and I'm happy to say that I'm a COVID survivor. About 5 weeks ago or so, I started experiencing fever in the evenings and another round of anti-malaria just in case I was still having, but it persisted, and then I became a little bit, I started becoming breathless with mild cough. Unfortunately, we ran a COVID test at that time also, and it came negative. But my illness was getting worse, so when we arrived at Abuja for further medical attention, we repeated the COVID test and they turned positive. So initially there was this shock, but I was happy that at least I knew what was behind all the symptoms that had remained intractable as it were before then. And I thank God that we took it off from there, and the rest is history now. But naturally, when this kind of thing happens, and starting from the prime figure, everybody was thrown into some sort of confusion, because it entailed that every person down the line had to undergo COVID tests, and down to my steward, my cook, my drivers, and everybody. So there was this state of confusion and awe, but at least because we had identified that this thing was there with us, we knew what we were pursuing, and it made it a little bit easier for us. It was not such a bad experience. In the first place, God blessed us with a great team from NCDC, very, very experienced and caring team. And when they drew up my treatment plan, I knew they had a proper understanding of what the matter was, and all that was required of me was to remain positive in my mind that I was going to get my healing, and become very, very faithful with the treatment regimen. It was a big relief. It was a big relief, a thing of joy for all those who went into prayers, encouraged me through telephone calls, prayers, words, and those who cared for me. Everybody was thrown into some wide jubilation, and I thank God it's been resolved. I knew from the outset that COVID was very serious and evasive, but it wasn't a death sentence. I think the critical thing in COVID, just like in other clinical conditions, is early diagnosis, to be able to get attention as quickly as possible. But if it is allowed to protract and remain in your system for a long while, it can really be dangerous and devastating. It can deal with your lungs, it can deal with your kidneys, it can deal with even your blood system, and create complications around clotting and all of that. So the critical thing is to diagnose it as quickly as possible and get medical attention. I think if that happens, one can definitely say that it's not a death sentence. It can be dealt with. See, we're going to leverage on what we have already, but the aim and objective is to make sure we test 1/3 of our members of our population. And we are going to use the existing template for immunization, leveraging the 774 primary health care units we have across the wards in Abia, to ensure we create more sample collection centers and increase opportunities for testing. We have 2 testing centers. The 3rd one is coming next week, and we're expecting 2 others to come through FMC and Michael Okpara University very soon. So for us to achieve this, we also need to do capacity building. We have to train people, laboratory hands, more doctors, more nurses, those who will be handling our samples. And we have to invest heavily on consumables, the PPEs, the face masks, the sanitizers, and everything we need to support all those that are frontline officers going forward. But beyond all of this, we must try to get the private hospitals working with NCDC to accredit hospitals that are willing and determined and have capacity to support the treatment of COVID patients, because we're expecting a spike as we ramp up our testing capability. But the most important and critical thing, which I think will stand us out, is our ability to create a robust, all-encompassing COVID management apparatus, which will involve the traditional rulers, the market women, Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, the clergy. Because if we agree on protocols coming from NCDC, we have to find a way to sell it to this critical strata of the society so that they can buy in and become co-owners of the initiative. You have to create ownership from bottom top. We have to come up with something that is agreeable and acceptable for our markets, for our schools, for churches, even for burial ceremonies. We have to agree why only 20 people has to be present during a burial. There's no need for the crowd at this hour. You can celebrate that post-COVID, but right now we can't allow more than 20, 30 persons. And the clergy must know why. The clergy must know why their homily must be short. Not more than 10 minutes. Why do we have to do this? Yes, because you don't have to keep 20, 30 people in the same arena for a long time. Why do we have to have 2 people in the pew now worshiping? Yes, because, you must practice social distance and everybody must be part of it. I just want to say to Nigerians that this COVID is real. It's real. This thing that has shut down the entire globe must be real. Anybody who is coming with a contrary story, making it look as if it's a myth or superstition, cannot help our cause at this hour. COVID is real, but we can get out of it together. And the only way to do that is to take responsibility. Responsibility for your personal hygiene, washing hands regularly, practice social distancing. In fact, staying at home if you don't have any business outside. Use of sanitizers all the time. Be mindful of crowded places, avoid them. And common surfaces like door handles and all of that, you have to be very, very careful. The places you touch and the kind of things. And then if you touch a place you're not too sure of, please quickly use a hand sanitizer, and in addition to that, also wash your hand. Then the use of face masks must be compulsory. Everybody has to cultivate the habit of using this face mask. This has become the new normal. And once again, I say that it is real, it is true, and the earlier all of us pull together to defeat this COVID, the better for each and every one of us. Nobody, no government can do it alone.